Hey y'all,
How's it going, everybody?
I'm Jay,
And I'm Chris the Bird Nerd.
and
And
we
we
are
are the
the Bird
Bird
Brains.
Brains. Toast or cheers.
Yeah, I need to go get my mug out of the kitchen.
Oh, it's all right. Mine's
It's
pretty
late, I'm
much empty.
tired.
I know.
I normally
I
I make the sleepy time tea, but I was too sleepy to make the sleepy time tea, if that makes
nice.
sense.
I mean, it's close to 9 o'clock tonight, but it's still light outside. I can still see everything.
Okay, hey, you know what I want to do though, real quick, because I put out a YouTube video the other day, and I I talked about that I got my Finch back, but I said I was in a hurry. I said it's too long for this video, but I want to tell the story because I want you to hear it too. And I kind of already told you the story a little bit, but so I was at a wedding the other weekend and I'd had a couple cocktails and I got a message, Facebook message saying like, "Hey, do you have parrot finches?" That's all it said. And I get messages like that all the time. It's normally people that are bird shopping, and I was like, "Yes, I do keep parrot finches. I don't have any to sell you right now." And he's like, "Well, hold on." And the guy says, "No, I have a parrot finch. Its mate passed away, and I want you to take it because I want it to be with other parrot finches." And I
Oh
was like,
man.
"Okay, really like where this conversation's going." And then he says, "I also have two Gouldians
Oh
that I'm
wow.
looking for a home for." And I was like, "Okay." And I start listing off the birds I'm going to trade. He goes, "Well, hold on. I'm only a hobby breeder. I only have the one pair. I just need a male Gouldian. Will you trade me?" And I was like, real quick in my head, I was like, "Do I have a spare male? Do I have a spare male?" And remember, I had a couple cocktails and I wasn't home. I was at this wedding. So I'm like, I basically said like, "Hey, sorry, I'm at a wedding. I'm pretty sure like, yes, I'll figure out how to do this, but like, let me get home and confirm." I get home the next day and like, I think I put my truck in like park and just ran to the bird cage. I'm looking at all the babies. I see one that's starting to color up and then it sinks, and I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh,
nice.
boom, spare male." So I immediately text the guy like, "Let's meet today," like deal.
Feels
And
like
then
Christmas.
Yeah, and then as part of it, I said, "Hey, out of curiosity, he lives near me. He lives right by Ron Xavier. He lives about an hour away."
Nice.
And I said, "Where'd you get this parrotfinch? Because it's a sea green red throat parrotfinch. They're pretty rare, especially on the East Coast." And he goes like,
Mhm.
sends me the picture of the ad from Rhonda's, and I'm like, "You're never gonna believe this, dude. I bred that bird. I sold that bird to Rhonda. I've regretted doing it ever since, just because it was such a beautiful bird and I wanted to keep it. It's the first sea green I ever bred." And so his new name is Prodigal. He has
That
returned.
is awesome.
And so now, and then if things go well, we're both working on this. We may or may not have a parrot finch hen for him coming from Southern California with the help of our buddy Alex this week. So
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah.
Alex. You're the
You're the
man.
man.
We're sending him to what may be a bad neighborhood in Los Angeles, and he has to be there before 8 a.m. We did give him gas
Uh,
money.
yes.
Um,
A little
if he is
compensation.
murdered, we will take his birds. Um,
We'll
but
take it off
no,
your hands. You don't have to
yeah.
worry
So I
about
mean, one of the coolest things about this whole internet thing is all the friends we've got to make, like us, right? But then all these other people and all
it.
starting
Yeah.
to build this loyal following. These people we talk to all the time, and man, it's cool. But to be able to, I don't know what you would have done before the internet. We would have just never, you'd never be able to find a bird. I don't know
Right.
how people did it.
You had local bird clubs, and then just every once in a while, someone would know someone from out of the state that knows birds, and like you slowly make those connections. But it took a lot of time to get
Yeah,
connections or know someone who lives across the U.S. that could send you a
I
bird or
mean,
has
the
birds.
alternative is I'm driving to LA, which
Uh-huh.
is, I don't know how long of a drive, but I'm going to guess 3 days each way from where I live.
Yeah.
So Alex is going to go get
I'm
this bird and then ship this bird to us.
I'm closer to LA, and I'm 14 hours away, so 13,
Yeah, I
14.
mean,
So,
I'm 2,500 miles from LA, and that's without
yeah.
traffic, right?
Yeah.
So yikes. But but
That's a
man,
that's a
it's cool.
killer deal, man. That's awesome that you were able to do that. I mean, usually it's like, hey, I got an extra zebra finch. Do you want a zebra finch? And I'm like, yeah, maybe not. But Goulians and a parrot finch. I mean, that's awesome. And so the male parrot finch that you have that came from my brother, I have to remember the genetics. So I know if you've got two normals and your male is split to sea green, it's a sex linked gene. So all of your babies that come out that are sea green are female, and your males are split. So your
Right, to
male
get
should be split. If you put a split with a normal sea green, you should be able to get both sexes of sea green from
right.
that parent.
So well, so no, what? So yeah, and if you so if the mother is sea green and the male is split, you can make either sex also.
Right.
It's like this bird that I just got. His mom was sea green. His dad is split, but he looks normal.
Oh, so it's a
And
male sea
then,
green.
yeah, this sea green's male.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was thinking it's female. Well, I've got a
it's
couple sea green hens that are on eggs right now, fertile eggs, with hoping for some chicks here in the next couple of weeks. So if it works out, maybe
yeah, and
get
I
some
mean
more
we
sea
have no
greens.
idea the genetics of these ones out in LA, so we'll see. But and then the other thing I got to figure out is so now I got two male red throats and no hens, and you really
Right.
can't keep two pairs together. Maybe you can in my aviary, or I need to keep one pair in my parrot flight. I haven't figured out how to do it, or I might try to trade the male you
Mm-hmm.
sent me for a hen.
Yep.
I got to figure it out,
You
but
know
that's a
my
problem for another day.
my real quick. I know, and then we're completely off topic here, but my
We
so
haven't
my
even said what
bro.
the topic is yet.
Maybe it's just parafinches. Maybe that's just where we're going.
Yeah,
Uh,
again,
my older bro, he's been really successful breeding parrot finches these last 3 years, and he's got a pretty neat little process down. He's got two main aviary flights that connect to outside, and he's got lots of like bushes and stuff in there. It reminds me similar to Tony's, Bones birds out in Australia. Not as big and elaborate, but he's got a lot of similar items there as far as like bushes and things like that, and things that the parrot finches can breed in. And he's got his one main flight. All of his young parrot finches he throws out there, and then he just watches them. And as soon as they pair off, then he pulls that pair out and he puts in his other flight just by themselves. It's still a mixed aviary, but it's only one pair of parrot finches in there. And
mhm.
man, that one pair just goes to town for him. He's had a few other pairs that he puts into like smaller cages, and that's where I've been most successful, and they'll breed for him. But if you've got like an aviary setting and he just throws them in there, I mean, he's like this last week, he's got two pairs, and both of them just kicked out like three chicks each. Like he's doing really well with the parrot finches, and a couple of them are sea green, so they will be hens. So keep that in mind, Jay, if we want to look at something down the road as far as maybe some
Yeah,
more hens for you.
we got to talk about that. We'll figure it out. Maybe that's what this episode needs to be. Maybe we just need to talk about we've talked about the
Connections?
economy of birds, but we've never talked about connections, and I guess we've never talked about how we get birds, have we?
No.
And I get asked that all the time, and no one's
Yeah.
ever said it as a podcast topic. This is really the audience's fault, frankly. So I guess on the grand scheme of things, you got your three ways to get birds, right? You can buy them, you can trade for them, or you can make them,
Yep.
right? On a scale of easiest to hardest, I would say the hardest is making them.
Yep.
Or I said that backwards. So hardest to easiest. The hardest is to make them, then it's trading, and then it's buying is the easiest. It's also the most
E
expensive,
As you say,
typically.
it's the most painful usually as well. So
Yeah, and so you know, I do a broad mix of all three.
yeah.
Uh, when you're starting an aviary, you can really you don't have the other two options, so you have to buy. But
Yeah.
as a general rule, now that I have this big established aviary and I'm pumping out about 100 chicks a year, which I think I fledged like 40 this year
Yeah, that's
so
awesome, man.
far, which is pretty
Killing it.
awesome. Yeah, and I like to do more making of my own and trading.
Yes.
One, because it's much easier to get that past my wife, and
Yeah.
two, because it's kind of more fun, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Um, and I'm proud of my birds. I think I have great birds.
Yeah,
I'm
I can
doing
attest to
good.
that.
Well, thank you. But and so I think I have good things to offer in trade. And then another cool thing about trading vice buying is it goes both ways, right? So like I sent you doves, now you have doves. So
Yep,
now I've increased the number of people that are breeding doves, right? So I think trade is probably my favorite
absolutely. Hun-
of the
Hands
three,
down.
even yeah. And actually I got offered a trade today. The downside to trade, let's just talk about trading for a second. So trading is tough for a couple reasons. So there, I basically, in my mind, there's kind of two kinds of trades. There's what I call, like in my head, like the good faith trade, which would be like the trade we just did, where it's like I didn't sit down and go like, okay, my birds are worth $1,206. His birds are worth $823. So I need him to give me those birds plus whatever
Yeah.
that is in cash, $203 in cash, whatever it is. Should have just used round numbers. That would have been easier in my brain. But so there's like, look, I'm going to send Chris the birds I want to send him. He's going to send me the birds he wants to send me. Eventually, we'll trade again. It'll all come out in the wash. It'll be fine. We're buddies. That's easy to do when you're friends. That's much harder to do with like random Craigslist dude.
Yep.
Those ones tend to be more. I have a pair of Gouldians. They're worth $250. You have a pair of Doves. They're worth about $100.
Yep.
So I'm going to send, I'm going to send the Gouldians. You're going to send me the Doves plus $150. But still, good way to keep costs down and to get new birds.
Yeah.
Um, the other tough thing about trading is if you can't see the birds you're trading in person, you have to really trust the other person. Are they going to get there?
Hands
Is
down.
it, do they even exist? Right? Did I just take a Google picture and send you a picture of birds? Um, so that's tough. And buying birds can be that way too, especially there's several websites out there, and I'm not going to list them because no free ads, but there's several websites in the U.S. That people know about that sell birds. Um, and you have two kinds of people that do that, right? You have breeders like me, like I ship birds. You can order birds from me, sort of. I don't even have an LLC. I'm a really small hobbyist. I make no money at this. When I sell birds, I'm basically just trying to recoup cost, but, and I'm never going to. But the, so like I'm not in it for the money, but then you have people that are like bird brokers, right? So they sell birds online, but the way they're doing that is they're going to people like us and saying, "Hey Chris, I'll buy all your zebra finches for half of what they're
Yeah.
worth,
Wholesale price.
right, wholesale, and then turn around and sell them." So that's those people usually have a really big, huge selection. You can get a lot of birds from them. The downside is they didn't breed the birds. They don't even really know the history or the health of the
Hmm.
birds. They pretty much know sex, if that,
Yeah.
and then they know if they got them or not.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a dice roll. That bird could show up sick. That bird could show up dead. So that's tough. And then there's also, if you're buying birds online, there are a lot of scammer websites. I
Oh yeah.
actually
Big time.
Yeah, I ran into one today. Jacob sent me one. He goes, "What do you think about this guy?" And a big hint on if the website is a scam website or not, if the prices don't make any sense. So, for instance, the
Yeah.
street value of an Eclectus parrot right now is, depending on the location, and everything, somewhere between 2,500 and $5,000, depending on where you are, the age of the bird, if it's hand tame, etc. But so if someone's saying, "I've got five Eclectuses and they're for sale for $900 a piece," that is a red flag, because if you went to the Mercedes car dealership and they said, "We'll sell it to you half price, we're just nice," there's a catch, right?
Yeah.
So a good thing to do is, like, let's just say you found a website that says Steve's Finches for sale. The first thing I always do is Google, is Steve's Finches for sale a scam? And the one that Jacob sent me today, the first thing that came up was the Better Business Bureau report from people who had filed multiple complaints. And Better Business Bureau dug into it and said they have a Kansas address, but when the person sent money, it got converted into UK pounds and sent to a bank account in England, and there's nothing at that address. So those kinds of things you got to be careful with buying birds. Um, so what I prefer to do when I'm buying or trading, and if you have a local bird store, which not everybody does, you're lucky. And when I say local, I mean I the nearest good bird store to me is an hour and a half, hour and a half. I drive that,
Yeah,
and that's
I'm
a
about
one way.
the same.
So round trip, that's a day trip. And by the time you get there, look at everything, and I like to get my eyes on the birds,
Yeah,
right? And that lets me inspect them, lets me check their vent, watch their condition. Much easier to sex them, right? Their overall behavior. Are they drowsy? Are they eating and drinking? Are they moving a lot? Are they lethargic? They look like they're breathing hard. Are they sneezing? All those things. Um, so, those bird stores, and then there are a lot of traveling or sort of like once monthly bird fairs or bird marts. People call them different things, bird shows. And that's another good place to buy birds, but you still have to be careful of health. And a lot
yeah,
of those people that are brokers also do those. So you have to be aware that that's who you're dealing with. Someone has 100 cages with 60 different species. They probably didn't breed all those birds. And they'll tell you. I mean, they're not hiding
yeah.
it, but it's something to be aware of.
And I think it's important if you can get eyes on the bird, whether you're at a mart or someone's home or a store, take a minute and just observe the birds.
Or
If you
20
watch a bird,
minutes, 30
yeah,
minutes.
exactly. And usually in that time, you can get a pretty overall view and feeling of the health of the bird, right? Is it coughing and sneezing? How active is it? Is it fluffed up? A good healthy bird has nice, vibrant eyes, doesn't have crusties around its nose, its vent is clean, its feathers are nice and sleek, and it's flying around like crazy, usually, right? Those are your better birds. So just take a minute, watch them, observe them, make sure that, and don't be afraid to say no. I know many times, especially me in Utah, where some of the birds just aren't as available, and the ones that are, sometimes you're like, man, do I just? It looks like crap, but this is probably the only bird in the state. Do I get it? And so there's been times I've made the mistake, and I've bought it and I've paid for it, and it usually dies within a couple of weeks, and it's my own fault because I should have known. And there's other times where I've just said no. I'll just save myself the frustration later on and save my money and see if I can find something better down the road and kind of have some patience. I think Jay, trading birds has probably been that's my favorite aspect.
Hmm.
I love getting to know other bird breeders and your birds. And even though Jay and I live across the country from each other, it's been pretty awesome being able to trade some birds with them. And I'd love to continue to do that because I want the birds that we're specifically trying to breed. It's not just to create them and to breed them, right? We want to save and sustain and maintain these species in captivity. And knowing that my birds are going to a good location, that they have a high chance to live and to continue to breed and diversify their genetics, then absolutely, like that's my goal and my mission, and I want to do that. So trading for me is it's more than just trading and getting new birds. It's sustaining captive populations. It's diversifying genetics. It's giving good homes to these birds. So keep an eye out. I actually got quite a few Amadina finches. My pairs have been kicking babies out like crazy.
It's awesome.
Those are really hard birds to find right now because we're not getting any African imports, right? So I probably am going to be reaching out here pretty soon to folks in the continental United States to see if we can do some trades or something like that because I want these birds to continue to do well and to breed and diversify them and spread them out throughout the U.S. and not just sell them here at my local town to someone who just wants a finch in their house, right? So, um, but yeah, trading is awesome. If you have that power and the ability, I would say do that in good faith, like you said, Jay. Sometimes the trades don't always come out equal on a numerical value or the price of the birds, but I think in the long run, hopefully that good faith, comes back and pays back and keeps the birds going. So I think that's pretty awesome. And just knowing your connections, get online, type in, different things, go to bird marts, reach out. We've got several breeders that talk to us on a daily basis through Instagram or YouTube and about their birds. And, that's how we met Alex. That's how we met Aladdin, that's going to be on the podcast soon, and other breeders throughout the world. And so there, with technology now, that the opportunities are endless to expound and to meet new breeders and to get into touch with them and their birds. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and if and one thing we should talk a little bit about maybe here is importing birds. So every country is really different. In the United States, it's really hard to import birds in general. You've got to pay for a quarantine or
Yeah.
some kind of customs permit. It is about $10,000 US, so it only makes sense if you're going to do a huge batch of birds, and they have to sit in a government quarantine facility, of which there are only two, for 30 days. And who knows if the dude on the night shift there knows how to take care of birds. And
Yeah.
then you get them if they survive all that. So that's pretty hard to do. But I say all that to say, if you're listening to this and you're in the UK and you're like, well, I want to trade with people, but you're in the US, still reach out to me. I'll post it and I'll see if I can find somebody for you in the UK. The
Right.
places I know I have really covered, I have the United States, including Hawaii, very well covered. I don't, I have like the Netherlands, Belgium area very well covered. I have Australia well covered. Anywhere besides there, I would like to help you. So that's
Yeah.
really fun and cool for me. So that is something we can help facilitate. We enjoy doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like I've got some species Chris doesn't have, although I'm not sure I guess yeah, I still do have a few you don't have. And Chris has some
Yeah.
I don't have, like I don't have Amademias, whatever. I can't pronounce it, doesn't matter.
I know.
But but we like working with this stuff, and like you talked about earlier, Chris, the first thing when we started our trade, it wasn't, well, let's do $1,000 worth of it. We never talked about money. It was,
Right.
here's what I've got that I can send, here's what I am hoping to get, and then we kind
Yeah.
of combined those lists and sent the best birds to make that happen. So that's the way you should be trading. You should be saying like, okay, like we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, like I have a sea green male that needs a hen. Chris Chris's answer wasn't good luck or oh that's going to be expensive. Chris goes, oh, you know what? I've got some sea greens that I know about. We might be able to make that work. So
Yeah.
that's the way to trade. That's the way to figure it out. Keep genetics from not getting to a bottleneck, not losing species. That's how we save these species in aviculture. And like we've talked about it before, but like I have a friend near here who really started to focus on red cheek cordon blues. I wasn't having a ton of success, so I said, here, and that was a one-way trade, right? It's like, here,
Yeah.
take my red cheek cordon bleu, breed some. When you get chicks, which he did have some fledged this week, and I'm psyched about it.
No way.
Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, they're really cool, and they're real quiet in the nest too. So he was just like, he texted me the other day, like, you're never gonna believe it. Like, I did a nest
That's
check,
so
and they're
awesome.
fully feathered, about to fledge in there. So that, but like, if I had decided, like, no, I'm gonna keep this bird until I get a hen again,
Right.
we don't get those chicks. And there's a guy, he probably doesn't watch this, but if he does, talking to you in North Alabama that has one red-billed male firefinch, and he won't sell it or trade it because he just wants hens, and he'll only do a trade for hens. So he's been doing that for like 2 years. He's got this one bird. So that bird, they can only breed till they're four.
Yeah.
So that bird is just been removed from the gene pool basically because he's overly selfish. And certain birds like Gouldian finches, even I would say Gouldian finches, society finches, zebra finches, they're very, very well established. And you being a little selfish is not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Your African waxbills, there's probably, I don't know, a couple hundred maybe red-billed firefinches in the United States, and that's a hard maybe.
Yeah.
Might be 50. We don't really know, but that's not a bird that you should be holding on to if you can't
Right.
make it work.
Yeah.
So, there's a little universal karma at the end of this. Do you like red-billed firefinches? Well, if you really like them, you'd want to make sure there were more of them, right?
Right. Yep.
Uh, yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping to do with the Amidinas, right? I want to spread the love, share them throughout with other breeders. I know a couple of breeders have reached out to me in the past saying, "Hey, I've got one or two of them. If you have any, let me know." And absolutely, I'm going to be reaching out to them because I want them to go to a good home, but I also want them to keep breeding, right? And so that they can become like the Gouldian finches. And we've got several hundred or thousands in each state, you know. So, but I think Jay overall, yeah, you can buy your birds, you can trade for them, or you can create your own. Um, when you get to a position, you know, I think in our position, Jay, we've got enough birds and a big enough hobby that we do all three of those. I've sold quite a few of these last few weeks of my babies that I've had throughout this winter, which is really nice. And I have to hide the money from my wife so that she doesn't see all the cash for my birds. And I have to keep telling her that I'm poor from the birds and it's just not going to work out, which really in the long run I am, because all of that money is going back to seed and nest boxes
Yeah, and that big
and
aviary you
supplements,
just
you know,
built. Yeah.
you know, but so it's fun when you can get to that point. But even if you only have a couple birds, you still can do that, right? You still can create your own birds, or you can still trade or buy and bring more in if that's a possibility for you. So options are there. I think it's really fun, you know, and it's a good way for us to keep spreading the love of all types of birds. I know we've mostly focused on finches, but all types of birds, large and small, especially in the United States, you know, trying to keep healthy populations and keep that going for younger generations and keeping people connected, you know, to those breeders and to those sites that they can access these birds from.
Absolutely. All right. Well, surprise for us, not for the listener, but this is what this podcast turned into.
that,
We have
that was
another topic we'll get to another time,
that
but
was 100% winging it today, which is
yeah,
great.
that was good. No, but I mean, it's kind of funny. It just kind of came out that way, but we've never done that before. But yeah, I mean, it is a good thing to talk about. It's like, and especially again, this is the time of year, spring, summer. This is when everybody's making birds in our hemisphere for the most part. I mean,
Right.
some people breed the Australian birds like you do it sometimes on the natural cycle, but
Yeah.
as a general rule, now's the time when birds are going crazy and there's a bunch of birds on the market. So if you're wondering, well, how do I get me on, get my hands on some of these? This is how we're doing it. So a
Yep.
combination of all three. Um, and if you got questions, and then I will say this, Chris and I both sell ship birds. If you have a finch, dove, cockatiel, parakeet, bork, what you're looking for, either we probably have it or we know somebody that does. So
Yes.
reach out and we'll try to hook you up.
Absolutely.
All
Well,
right.
Jay, where can they reach you at, man?
Oh yeah, we do need to talk about that, don't we? That's a good thing to should yeah,
Probably
reach
on
out to me.
this
Bye.
podcast would be great
Yeah,
since we're talking
reach
about
out to me.
connections.
Bye. Yeah. Good luck. Hope you know me. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, which sucks. I'm on Reddit and YouTube. YouTube's probably not great for reaching out. You can sort of reach out in the comments, but it's much harder to talk to somebody, and it's all very public. So, I'm not
Yeah.
giving out, my contact information on there, but especially Facebook DMs, Reddit DMs, Instagram DMs, I'm pretty good on replying on those. What What about you, Chris?
Yeah, similar. Bird Nerd on Instagram. So I'm Bird Nerd 4 on Instagram, and then Facebook and YouTube. I'm just Bird Nerd. Same. Facebook and Instagram PMs or DMs are the best way to get a hold of me. I do try to respond to general questions, you know, on our YouTube channel and any comments that you guys put in, and appreciate the comments and the support that you guys give to us. But yeah, those are the main platforms to get a hold of me. So if you have any questions, reach out, and if I don't know the answer, I'll just kick it over to Jay, and he can answer it for you.
We'll figure it out together, and if
There
we
you
have
go.
to, we'll do some homework, right? We hadn't
Yeah,
said that yet this episode.
that's right.
So yeah. All right. Well, if you got any questions, shoot us a DM. Get down in the comments. Maybe talk about where you get your birds. Talk about a trade you've done, something cool. You're crazy how you bought a bird story from some guy in Alaska that lives in a hut. Surprise us.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
I
awesome.
think with that, we'll catch you all in the next one.
Okay, see you guys.
Thanks.